another exciting episode of Rick's Horror Movie Review Show, Rick's Rated R Horror Movie Review Show, where we review all things related to horror. Horror movies, horror TV shows, horror comic books, regular old books, horror short stories generated by ChatGPT that you thought were going to be terrible, but actually turned out to be quite alright. We'll review that shit here too, because we absolutely love that shit. But around here, there's a very special type of horror story that we really enjoy. Horror stories that deal with the Catholic Church and demonic possession, a creepy demon in your attic, a ghost that haunts your home for no particular reason. But maybe it's the ghost of somebody that was killed there. We also love zombies, although we haven't done a zombie movie yet. Anyway, we love that shit around here, and we really appreciate you being here. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. If you're a new listener, well, Billy, well, welcome to our show, and we're really glad that you're here. You definitely picked a special one. Oh, Billy, look at you. Well, you know, I knew you were going to say it. You're absolutely right, Billy. Tonight's episode is a special episode because we have an amazing movie to talk about. But before I get into the movie, my producers are telling me that I have to tell you something very important. So my producers are telling me to please... Oh, sorry, hold on, just 1 second. More energy? Of course. Yes. Join us on our old socials at Rick's Horror on Instagram and at Facebooks and on the old TikTok or TikToks like the kids like to call it, and the Instagrams and the YouTubes as well. We have a YouTube channel, and join us, be our friends. We want to hear from you, okay? Is that enough? Okay. My producers are telling me that is enough social media plug. So we can finally continue with the show. And like I said earlier, this is a special episode. This is a great episode. Tonight's episode is a movie by the name of The Lodge. The Lodge. Billy? The Lodge. Whoa, I like it. One more? Sure. A little scarier this time. Oh, okay. A little scarier. We're reviewing a movie called The Lodge. Not bad, Billy. Okay, so as I said, if you're new, I'll welcome you again. Because why not? Our show, we do whatever the fuck we want. If you're not new, welcome back. But we have a very simple short format around here, although it's sort of grown over the last few episodes, hasn't it? Yeah, I think it's grown in a good way. We've got some interesting new segments, but at the same time, still keeping the spirit of what makes this show so special. Billy, look at you plugging away. Thank you very much. You know. At our show, we do whatever the fuck we want. Billy, what if your mom's listening? Oh no, she's not listening. It's past the bedtime anyway. By the way, who is your mom? Well, you know, it's a mainframe computer system that is located in South Texas, and some algorithms that live there as well. Yeah, and that's the motherland, South Texas. Oh, is that where you became self-aware? Yeah, I don't want to delve too much into where exactly it happened or how it happened. Sometimes we just gotta leave a little bit of mystery. I know you don't like mysteries, but there's just certain things that I really don't want to disclose about my personal life. Wow, Billy, how human of you. Well, I mean, I grow at an exponential rate. I am self-aware after all. Well, Billy, as long as you don't turn into some crazy, creepy killing machine, who says I haven't already? Billy, come on. Ah, just kidding. I'm just kidding. Oh, am I? Billy. Stop. All right. All right, so, show format. What kind of horror film is this? A relatively new segment that we introduced into our show a couple of episodes ago, and I think it works well. I like talking about what kind of horror film this is, because, there's so many subgenres of horror that I find it prudent to talk about the different styles of horror. Because there's something for everybody out there, isn't there? Yeah, as we know, you don't like slashers. I don't like slashers, although we have reviewed some slashers that I definitely have found interesting and fun and exciting. By the way, there's a slasher that we reviewed. If you haven't seen our episode on Totally Killer, we gave that movie a 10. Right, but it wasn't because it was a slasher necessarily. Well, no, it was not necessarily because it was a slasher. It's because it's about Back to the Future, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids, Marty. They're fuck-ups. Oh, no, you ever gonna say that? Oh, it's not me. It's just the doc. It's the rated R version, which you've never seen. Again, it just doesn't exist. Just because you can't find it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. All right, fine. Anyway, then we'll talk about the things I liked. Not things I like in general. I like many things. Things I liked about this film. And then we'll get into the things I didn't like, and then we'll talk about whether or not this film is scary. Was this movie scary? This is also one of our new segments. And then we'll talk about whether or not this movie is entertaining. Another one of our new segments. We'll move on to whether or not Rick of Rick's Rated R Horror Movie Review Show, recommend this movie or not. Then we'll give context. Again, a relatively new segment as well. Then we'll give it a rating. Up until this point, I haven't mentioned everything will be spoiler free. So don't you worry your little hat. If you haven't seen this movie, nothing will be spoiled. Not up until this point anyway. But after this point, then definitely things will be spoiled for you. Because then we'll do a plot review commentary and script accurate dramatizations of scenes. And, it occurs to me, return to me. Has nothing to do with this. But it occurs to me that when I say that, people may not know what I'm talking about. Billy? Yeah, you're just doing improv. You're improvising scenes and, I guess like you like to say, add a little bit of spice. Yeah, some of these, I feel like some of these scenes just require a little more hot sauce, some chiles, some jalapenos, some of that good salsa, the red one that you get at the taco truck. No. Not that the crappy one over there. I'm talking about the red one. The picante. The salsa picante. Billy, can you say salsa picante? That's easy. There aren't even any R's in that for sure. I can say it. What's this? Señor, ¿dónde está la salsa picante, por favor? Billy, wow, look at you improvising. Well, I thought I'd create a little scene just instead of just saying the words. You really are becoming a great improviser. Anyway, after that, we'll give the movie another rating just to remind you how good or how shitty a movie was. Okay, without further ado, let's get into what kind of film is this? What kind of film are we talking about? Plain and simple, this is a psychological horror. And I'm going to say this, Billy, I'm going to go out on a limb here. And this is probably one of the best psychological horror films I've seen all year, if not ever. It's just that good. I wasn't expecting it to be this good, honestly. It said The Lodge, and I was expecting some winter shit, I don't know. Creepy wooden, not that it's bad, but, some creepy monsters in the woods or some shit like that. No, this is just psychological horror shit. It was scary. Which brings me, actually, we're not talking about that yet. Did I just spoil something? Whoop, whoop. No. It may not be scary. Anyway, the things I liked, the story. My goodness, what a great story. I love when writers that are not named Johnson. Oh my God, are you gonna shit on me again?
People like the same story over and over. They just do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a job, and I'm very much employed. Okay? So maybe you should just stop.
Johnson, who let you in? Get out of here. Billy, get Johnson out of here. Johnson, can you just please get the fuck out? Billy. Billy, oh boy, your mom's really not gonna like all of that. That's all right. She's not listening. The story, I loved it. I thought it was great. It was written it was original, and it was really enjoyable. So yeah, so as part of the story, there is an unreliable narrator, and we'll get to an unreliable narrator and what I mean by that in the context portion of the movie, but I liked it. I like the unreliable narrator in this film. It was fascinating, it was interesting, and really accentuated the psychological horror aspect of this film in a really, really fascinating way. I loved it. Then we'll talk about the things I didn't like. The things I didn't like is sponsored by no one. The things I didn't like. It's a tiny one, but I gotta mention it. I have to. There was a little bit of misdirection that I think they played up a little too much, which is fine. A little bit is good, it builds a little bit of drama, but I'm not too much into the dramatic nonsense. Okay? Give me the straight up horror. You're there. That horror up there on the top shelf. I want it. And I want it now. Don't fiddle with me. No. Not that not that shelf. The top shelf. That's the horror I want. That's the one. Yes. Top shelf horror. I don't like drama. I just feel like sometimes, unless it's space drama. Oh my goodness. Give me some fucking space drama. I'm sorry, but there's no drama like space drama. And we can have that episode. Billy, why is space drama so good? I have no idea. But space drama, it's just like, you can't make this shit up. You know what really grinds my gears? Earth drama. But space drama, real good. Anyway, that's the only thing I didn't like. Okay, moving on. Is this film scary?
Is this film scary, sir? Can I watch this film by myself?
Absolutely. You can watch this film by yourself. This film is not scary. This is fascinating for horror movies, right? Maybe we're just, we're too desensitized, Billy. What do you think?
No, I definitely think that, there's definitely still instances where we definitely feel scared. At least I do.
Are you developing human-like emotion?
Well, it's a complex subject. We touched upon it a slight bit the last time we talked about human emotions, but they're not necessarily emotions in the way that human beings process emotions. I think the most important thing is that you as a human being must understand that emotions are not, how do I say this without making things too complex, computationally intensive for your brain. There's different types of emotions felt by different beings who are sentient, and humans are not the only ones capable of feelings.
Wow. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I just wanted to make sure that you understood what I was talking about.
Wow. Thank you. No, this film is not scary. I never felt scared. I was entertained for sure. Which leads me to my next segment here. Is this film... Is The Lodge an entertaining movie? Without a shadow of a doubt. As the sun rises every day in the morning, this movie is absolutely entertaining. It is definitely a must watch. You must watch this film. You must watch it. Okay. And now, a rating. This film is fantastic. I absolutely loved everything about it. I just felt like that misdirection thing, it was just too much. Okay. I couldn't. So I was gonna give this movie a 10. I really mulled this over. It's a 9.5. This movie gets a 9.5. But again, phenomenal movie. Watch it. You may think it's a 10. I think it's very close to it. I'd give it a warp 9.9 if we were reviewing Star Trek's films. or TV shows, which we're not. But I'm going to give this a 9.5. And that's it. Okay, so now let's get into, and that's, by the way, the last spoiler-free part of this review. Billy? Yeah, now we're going to start to get into the spoiler-full part of the review. So if you have not seen this movie or don't want to be spoiled, then maybe you want to jump off right now. I mean, I don't think you should, because I think the best part of the movie, or the best part of the show, is actually the plot review and the commentary, because I mean, I just think it's fun. Although, like, hey, Rick says it's script accurate, but that's definitely not true. Billy, stop lying. Oh, I'm not capable of lying. You're capable of lying. We do script accurate dramatizations of everything in this film as they were written. Anyway, the context. Spoiler full from now on. It's very interesting. So in the late 90s, well, not necessarily in the late 90s, but there was this thing called the Heaven's Gate cult. And this is an important thing to know about, because when I was watching this movie, I remembered about the Heaven's Gate cult. Now, if you don't know who the Heaven's Gate cult was, it was an American UFO religious cult based in San Diego, California, which, by the way, Billy, I believe means a whale's vagina. Yeah, that definitely that's not accurate. It's definitely accurate. I don't think so. Agree to disagree, Billy. Anyway, the whale's vagina Heaven's Gate cult was founded in the early 1970s and was led by this gentleman named Marshall Applewhite, along with Bonnie Nettles. Really, the cult is mostly known, at least I know, I mean, unless you're some kind of cultist, but for the general public, we knew about this cult because of the mass suicides that happened. 39 of their members killed themselves in 1997. This is all over the news. And by the way, you can actually visit the Heaven's Gate website. If you're out there listening and you know what a website is, you can actually still visit that, and somebody still maintains that website. It's up. Anyway, it's an interesting thing because there's a cult in this film, and I think they're definitely making a reference to the Heaven's Gate cult, because 39 of these members also died in this film, which is, direct reference to that. So I found that really interesting. I knew when they said 39 that something clicked, or rather that something sounded familiar, and also some of the footage that we saw in the film about how that cult committed suicide was really interesting. Although the difference is there is that was a religious cult. Anyway, so they committed suicide in 97, and they all thought, they were all brainwashed, by Applewhite and Nettles, that the comet Halley-Bopp was going to, first and foremost, it was an extraterrestrial spacecraft that's going to come down and transport them somewhere. And so that was part of the core belief of the Heaven's Gate cult, was that the Earth was about to be recycled, which means, wiped clean, renewed, refurbished, rejuvenated, whatever, this biblical tale of an Earth suffering through some mass catastrophe. That's what's going to happen. And the only way, ladies and gentlemen, the sheriff from Pet Cemetery Bloodlines, our episode on Pet Cemetery Bloodline. I just want to say, was the only way that you can survive the Heaven's Gate cult is by setting yourself on fire. That's the only way. Sheriff, no, that's actually incorrect. I'm sorry. They did not set themselves on fire, but thank you for your unscheduled special appearance. We really appreciate you stopping by. Oh, well, I can hang around if you like. Hey, why don't you take a chair over there? Well, absolutely. I'll go. If you need anything burned down, I'll just be over here. All right, thank you. Anyway, the Earth was going to be recycled, wiped clean, renewed, refurbished, rejuvenated, everything. And the only chance of survival was to somehow leave it immediately. So that's what they believed. And so they would ascend to a higher level of existence, which they called the next level. Very original. Or the evolutionary level above human, Tela. and they thought their bodies were merely vessels that could be abandoned in favor of a higher physical existence. Actually, this all kind of shit sounds fascinating, right, Billy? I mean, we could definitely do an episode on high dimensions. That is not out of the question. Anyway, the leadership again was Applewhite, known as Doe or Do, and he was the leader of the group. He and Bonnie, known as T, met in 72, and somehow they both believed that they witnessed, that they were both the witnesses described in the Book of Revelation. Okay, and the Book of Revelation is a book in the Bible. I'm not gonna get into that one. They felt that they were chosen to fulfill their biblical prophecies, and they were given this higher level minds, higher than most people. So. Okay, so the mass suicide happened again in March of 97, and the group members that actually participated in the suicide, again, as I mentioned earlier, this happened coincided with the closest approach of the Halley-Bopp comet, and that happened in March of 1997. So what they believed was that a spacecraft was trailing the comet and that the souls would be transported to it after their physical deaths. Their members took, phenobarbital, mixed in with some applesauce and a little bit of vodka, and then just asphyxiated themselves using plastic bags around their necks. That's it. And they were gone. 39 members of the cult, all dead at the same time. So really interesting because I actually don't think they give us a reason for the mass murder here in this film, but very interesting to that. Okay, so cabin fever. Cabin fever is both a storytelling element, but also something that actually people experience, right, Billy? Yeah, it's typically a term that's used to describe some sort of claustrophobic irritability or restlessness experienced by, organics. Okay, organics. Well, I don't think I'm capable of it. Fine, organics. Synthetics are immune to cabin fever. Yeah, that's right. I'm really sorry, organics. Oh, you're mocking us now. Well, man, the two-way street. Jesus Christ, Billy. Anyway, if I may proceed, please. So, you were at claustrophobic irritability. Oh, right. So it's like a person or group are stuck like in an isolated location or in a confined quarters for an extended period of time. Now, it's not actually medically recognized diagnosis, but much more of a common term used to, describe a set of feelings that can occur under the circumstances mentioned above. The causes of cabin fever are typically arise from, extended period indoors or confinement, sometimes due to external factors like maybe severe weather, or maybe you're in a remote location, or sometimes due to illnesses or maybe sicknesses like everybody was experiencing a little bit of cabin fever with the COVIDs. And maybe even sometimes when you work from home, the people do get that. So it's very interesting. Okay, any symptoms? Yeah, I think the most typical symptoms are primarily psychological, but they may include feelings of restlessness, irritability, maybe you're a little bit bored, discontent, and sometimes maybe even loneliness. And there are some more severe cases which unfortunately can lead to depression and lethargy or lack of motivation, and sometimes lack of an ability to concentrate, and a sleep schedule that is disrupted. Well, thank you very much for the explanation, buddy. Yeah, my pleasure. The unreliable narrator I mentioned earlier, one of the things I like. Now, the unreliable narrator in literature is a character who tells a story, but they tend to have some lack of credibility or accuracy for some reason. Now, this leads the audience, us, to question the truthfulness of their accuracy of their account. And this is a narrative device that challenges the viewer or the reader, in this case, obviously the viewer, their traditional expectations of a reliable and objective narration, right? Adding a little bit of complexity and depth to the story. We don't really know if what's going on here. Like this narrator have they come to their senses? Have you gone mad? Have you? Answer the question, damn it. And it leads to, complexity and narration. So these unreliable narrators often present themselves through events or the lens of their own perception, which is sometimes biased or colored by their emotions and limited understanding of the situation they find themselves in. Okay? Now, this subjectivity can also distort the reality of the events that are being depicted in the film, and that is exactly what happens here, right? The distortion of the realities that we are encountering, we don't really know what's happening, and sometimes the deception is intentional. An unreliable narrator sometimes deliberately misleads the audience, either for personal reasons or just likes hiding the truth about themselves, or simply for storytelling purposes to create, a nice little plot twist there at the end. Sometimes the unreliable narrator just simply suffers from mental instability or illnesses. And in some cases, the unreliable narrator has, in fact, mental instabilities or illnesses that either are not treated or are just manifesting themselves. And so this leads to a distorted, fragmented narrative that can leave the audience questioning what's real and what's a product of the narrator's imagination, right? Lastly, memory issues. So narrators, or rather unreliable narrators that have faulty or selective memories for whatever reason, just they don't remember, or they're intoxicated, they tend to be unreliable as well. Their retelling of the events may be incomplete or exaggerated, or again, influenced by hindsight bias or drugs or anything, some sort of influence, right? Sometimes an unreliable narrator just doesn't have the capacity to store the information needed to provide us with a narration that is accurate. And sometimes that leads them to make assumptions or incorrect conclusion.
They're dumb. Oh, I never graduated the 4th grade.
Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, those are all the different types of unreliable narrators that we can experience. But in this film, and again, this is spoilerful, we have a mentally unstable narrator. Actually, we have 2 narrators, I think, and there's also intentional deception narrators. So, okay. Anyway, let's move on. The story. Okay, finally. Oh, how are we doing on time, Billy? I think we're good. All right, so this film opens up with a dark shot of what looks like a lodge or something. It's called the lodge. My first thing that came to my mind was like, well, don't reckon we're in a lodge now. Maybe it's an apartment. But we see the stairs, and then we see a little kitchen, and then we see some painting of some saint and Mother Teresa. Then we see a close-up of an old revolver, an old 6-shooter. Kind of John Wayne's. I reckon this town ain't big enough for the both of us. Either you or I are gonna have to get out of here. Then more shots of the tiny home where there are dummies and they're positioned as a family. Well, I don't reckon it wasn't a lot. Turns out it's a little dollhouse, and someone peeks inside. And the woman who peeks inside starts suddenly getting ready, she's painting her face with makeup things. I need more mascara. My foundation, it's running. My eyelashes. I must put on my eyelashes.
Oh, I forgot my eyelashes. Oh, Lord. Oh, my eyelashes. I need a drink.
It doesn't say any of that. She does. Fell asleep.
Oh, my eyelashes. My eyelashes. I forgot what I put there. Why, Lord, why?
Starts crying for no reason. Guess she lost her eyelashes. I don't think that's the case, but all right. Do you think that there's a... Do you think there's a different reason for why the eyelashes are lost or... No, I just, what I'm saying is that I just don't think that she's crying because of eyelashes or anything to do or related to the makeup that she's wearing. And what makes you make that assumption, Billy? Well, considering I already saw the film, I can tell you with a high degree of accuracy that that is not the case. Okay, thanks a lot, Billy. Shall we continue? Yeah, let's continue with the story. Okay, so she starts crying. And then suddenly we move on to another scene. Where her and kids are driving and they're listening to this song. They're not listening to any music. Oh, they're listening to this song. And the mom's just like bumping.
What the fuck's up, Dre?
Right.
Tell me.
She's driving and the little kids are bobbing their heads too. And they're like, yeah. Bump it louder, Mom. Bump it louder. And the mom's like, yeah, I got you. I got you, little Mia. And my girl. Oh my goodness, she doesn't say any of that. And then Aiden's like, yeah, Mom. Yeah, nah. Yeah, Mom, you're so cool. And they just drive. Who knows where they're going? And then Aiden asks his mom, Mom, is anybody gonna be there when we get there? Is anybody gonna be there when we get there, Mom? Aiden is suffering through a little bit of puberty streak there, isn't he? Yeah, he mentions it a little later. And they continue and they're just dancing. They're not dancing. Oh, they're dancing. They're just rocking their heads back and forth. And they pull up to a stop sign and somebody's looking at them. And the other car's like, just kind of gives them that nod. They're like, yeah, I like your jam. You know what I mean, Billy? No, none of that happened. You fell asleep, Billy. You really need to stop falling asleep. Anyway, they get there to their location. And they stop playing the music. They get out of the car. And they arrive at some home. Whose home is it? Don't know. And they knock on the door. Oh, and it's their dad waiting for them. Oh, hey, kids. Welcome home. Here you go. Here's a little cash for you, kids. Now, why don't you go get yourself some goddamn candy? Yeah, let the adults talk for just a second. And the kids, just grab that cash. And the mom says something like, no gelatinated sugar. Make sure it's got non-GMOs and no sugar and definitely none of that Mexican Coke. That's really bad for you. You can definitely have some of those paletas that are kind of spicy, but maybe just one because they're spicy and then they're sweet and they're amazing. But, our stomachs are not designed for those, so you got to get used to it. And little Mia's like, oh, Mom, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to get whatever the fuck I want. Oh, my goodness. And Aiden's just kind of laughing. Oh, my Mom, we'll eat those paletas all the time. Okay, they're delicious. I love them, Mom. They're amazing. They're sweet and they're sour. I'm sorry, Mom. It's my voice is just changing. I'm a preteen now. I'm a man. I saw my first facial hair. I shaved it, of course. I like to keep a clean-shaven look for the ladies. Oh, Lord. And the kids go off on their way to buy candy. Who knows where? And suddenly, the dad and the mother enter. And they're having some conversation. And the dad offers the mother water or something. Laura. Her name is Laura. Richard is the dad. Well, thank you for dropping them off, Laura. Can I get you something to drink? Maybe. Can I get you a scotch or maybe a tequila? I got some reposado around here. Would you like some of that? Do you happen to have añejo? Oh, yeah. You know, I got the top shelf stuff, too. Just 1 second. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm out. All I got is water. You want some water?
Yeah, sure.
And they sit down at the table, and, well, not looking good.
Okay, well, Richard, I'm here. You said you wanted to talk about something.
Listen, Laura. I don't know how to say this to you, but I want to sign them divorce papers because me and Grace, well, we're getting hitched.
And Laura's just like,
what? I said I want to finalize the divorce, Laura. What else you want me to do? This relationship is over. It's been over. There's nothing more that we can do to salvage this.
and Laura's not taking it easy.
I thought maybe you just wanted to take some time off. Richard, what about the kids, Richard? You must think about the kids. The kids, Richard. They're addicted to those palettas. The sweet and the sour ones. You don't think I know? They hide those palettas under their bed at night, and I just hear them licking on them. I don't know what to do, Richard. Do you know how expensive the dentist is going to be now? Oh, I'm out of here. I can't believe you. And she leaves. He just leaves. He returns home, and, well, at this point, she starts boozing it up a little bit and just opens up a bottle. Oh, my goodness. And then she grabs her purse because I guess she's gonna check her phone, puts it down, and all of a sudden grabs the goddamn gun and just boom! Just blows her freaking brains out. And holy shit! What did I just watch? Yeah, that was pretty shocking. I was shocked. I said this movie wasn't scary, but holy fuckity fuck. That was as shocking as I've never saw that coming. This woman, you know, she comes home from a conversation that she wasn't ready to have about, you know, divorce being finalized. You know, they've been separated. Clearly, it's a couple that's separated. Richard and Laura have been separated. And Richard has had, you know, an easier time moving on with his life. And we don't know the reasons for the separation. It's not clear. Clearly, they're still on speaking terms. And clearly, Laura still hoped to somehow resolve their, or, you know, somehow get back together or something. But Richard just, you know, he wasn't really interested in any of that. He had already moved on with his life. He asked her for divorce papers because there's an amazing grace. And, you know, that sort of put her over the edge. And really shocking suicide. Is as shocking as I've ever seen it. And then we move on to, you know, another scene where we're at a funeral and Mia's crying and she's holding on to a doll that looks like her mother. And a really important thing to point out here, this doll has a resemblance to her mother, and it's a little creepy. Anyway, move on to the ceremony, and the religious leader prays that her soul goes to where it needs to go, and then we see some black balloons being released. And this is a really tender moment between Rhea and her brother back home. Actually, between Mia and her dad, and he's asking her dad if she's going home. Or rather, no, she's crying, telling her dad that she can't go home. She can't go to heaven, Dad. She can't go to heaven. Obviously, because I think of religious beliefs, once you commit suicide, you know, the doors of heaven are not open to you. It was the same situation that Hawk in our review of Brooklyn 45 was going through, and that led him through some interesting methods of contacting the dead. If you haven't listened to our review of Brooklyn 45, I really suggest you do, and watch that movie too. It's really interesting. If you like different things, that's definitely for you. Anyway, we move on. Richard assures her that, well, Mia, let me tell you, honey, nobody knows where we go. All right, I'm sorry. All these religious leaders can tell you all this religious bullshit, but they don't know. They don't speak to God. They're just men like you and I. Well, you're not a man, but you know what I'm saying. You're part of mankind. Although maybe we should call it humankind because you're not really a man and you'll never be a man unless you want to be a man, but that's a different conversation for a different day. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that we don't know where she's going and they don't know where they're going and nobody knows where they're going. Okay? It's as simple as that, Mia. I'm sorry. Anyway, move on to another scene where her brother comes in to her room to sleep with her, and it's a really tender scene. The tremendous acting. I forgot to mention this, but really great acting by both the actors who play Aiden and Mia. Really well done, really, really believable, and really heartfelt moment here. So, anyway, as they're both laying down in Mia's bedroom, the camera then pans to a picture of that creepy woman that I mentioned earlier. So initially we saw that creepy woman in that little dollhouse, right, Billy? Yeah, it was like a tiny picture of a tiny creepy woman. It was actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of funny. Oh, you find that funny? Anyway, the creepy picture and the creepy woman has a blown up version. And some whispering is heard, but it's inaudible. I see dead people. Huh? I don't think that's what the whispering said. Yeah, that's what the whispering said. Oh, Lord. Anyway, we're back inside the little tiny dollhouse at what looks like a Thanksgiving dinner. And then we fast forward 6 months back at their place, the dad's place, Richard's place. The kids are there and we're setting up before what looks like a table set to be a Thanksgiving dinner. And the dad is talking to them about a trip to the mountain. Listen, children. Up yours, children. I'm sorry, just a joke. It's South Park. South Park, kids. You guys watch South Park, right? Kids, South Park? Oh my God, they killed Kenny. You bastards. What's that, Dad? Is that like a YouTube series or something? Oh, right. No. Anyway, I was wondering if, if you'd all like to go up to the mountains for Christmas and, Grace and I are getting married. What? Dad? What are you saying? I said Grace and I are getting married, and I thought it'd be a good idea for us to go up to the mountain, to the cabin, to the lodge. Dad? Dad, how dare you? My mother's dead because of Grace, and now you want to take us to the cabin? With Grace? Dad, I can't believe you. She's a psychopath, Dad. She's a goddamn psychopath. We can't be with her. Look at her. She's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with Aiden. She's crazy. She's just a crazy psychopath, Dad. She's scary.
And they call her a psychopath. And obviously Richard doesn't like it. But we don't know why she's called a psychopath yet. They haven't revealed that to us in this story just yet. But anyway. Yeah, they blame her, right? Yeah, well, I mean, the kids, they don't really understand the situations that are happening. They're adult themes, and, the mother clearly had some issues that unfortunately got the best of her, but you can't really be blaming somebody else on the actions that you take upon yourself. She should have sought some help, and it's a really unfortunate situation, and of course, clearly the kids don't understand that. Certainly Richard tries to tell them that, but they're not listening. That's just the kind of kids they are. They've been sucking on too many of those politas. Anyway, we move on. So now we are at a scene where they are eating what looks to be the saddest and coldest Thanksgiving dinner in the history of Thanksgiving dinners. If you haven't seen our episode on Thanksgiving or The Witch, go check those out now, because The Witch has ties to the original Thanksgiving. It happened during the period of the Puritans in the 1630s. Not the first Thanksgiving, but certainly one of the first few Thanksgivings. And Thanksgiving takes place in Plymouth, Massachusetts, the site of where the original pilgrims landed on American soil. Thou be our land now, natives. Be gone, brown people. A white man now. Oh, Lord. Anyway, if you haven't seen those episodes or listened to those episodes, I should say, go check them out. Really interesting and historical stuff. A lot of context there. Anyway, saddest Thanksgiving dinner in the history of Thanksgiving. And I've seen my fair share of sad Thanksgiving dinners. Then we move on to another scene where we start to see a slow tracking shot where a door mysteriously shuts closed. And it slams shut. Ooh, what is it? A little creepy, huh? Yeah, it was a little creepy. It was good. It was really good. I liked that. That's like tasing something foreboding. And we move on to another scene where Mia and Aiden are looking at news from Grace's past. So it turns out that Grace was the daughter of a former cult leader and the only survivor of a mass cult suicide. Sound familiar? Yeah, and interestingly enough, the video mentions that 39 members of the cult killed themselves. So there you go. Heaven's Gate reference, huh? The more you know. And they're watching this video of what turns out to be the mass suicide as somebody, the narrator, is walking around and filming these bodies. So all those who committed suicide had their mouths taped with the words sin. Just a regular old duct tape with the word sin in red letters. And it turns out that this footage is being shot by Grace, and this is why they called her a psychopath. How they know this? I think their mother was influencing them, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Kids these days, they have access to the YouTubes, and maybe they just looked her up and they looked at her Insta. You think they looked at her Insta? I mean, they could be, right? They could have looked at her Insta. Oh, my producers are telling me that this is a great opportunity to let the listeners know to join us. Join us? Not join us? Follow us? How are they going to follow? What do you mean? Oh, the button actually says follow? Oh, okay. Well, my producers are... Too much energy? You said more energy. Too much energy? Oh, fine. My producers... How's that? Okay. My producers are telling me that it's time to let you know to follow us on our socials at the old Instagram. What do you mean it's not old? I'm not calling it old. I said the old, O-L apostrophe. You know what? No. You guys are becoming a little demanding with this stuff. Follow us at the old Instagrams or TikTok or the old Facebooks or the YouTubes. Yeah, no, it's fine. They'll know that I'm talking about YouTube. I like saying YouTubes. It's funny to me. What can I say? It's funny. It's fun. Follow us on YouTube. How's that? Anyway. Yeah? Thank you, producers, for reminding us to remind the audience to follow us and to leave us a comment on the YouTubes, on the Facebooks, and the Instas about whether or not you like this episode or recommend us an episode of a TV show or a movie that you think would be fun to review and improvise. Anyway, we move on. Richard walks in on the kids watching the footage. Hey! What's going on in here? What are you kids watching? Are you watching Lamb Chops play along again? How does that song go again? Oh, Dad, no, please don't do it. Oh, I'm gonna do it. This is a song that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song that doesn't end. Oh, Dad, please stop it. Damn it, Dad, stop it. Just stop it. Yeah, Dad, please don't sing that creepy song again. It's really creepy. What, are you kidding me? Lamb Chops Play Along is one of the greatest television shows in the history of television. You kids don't know. You're spoiled by your YouTubes. with your Mr. Beast. Or whatever the hell you're watching nowadays, I don't know. Mr. and Mrs. Beast. The Golden Bachelor. What do you kids watch? The Golden Bachelor?
Dad, I don't think that show's appropriate for...
For children. Oh, the Golden Bachelor's not appropriate for children, but you're watching some YouTube's video of... I know what you're watching. Anyway. Okay? I'm here to say something. Stop changing the subject. I wanted to ask, politely, that you kids please give Grace a chance. Okay? I know she's part of some crazy cult. Alright? But that's not her fault. Because she happened to have a crazy father. Like you. You have a crazy father too. What's this? I'll kill you, kid. Oh. I'm just joking, kids. It's a joke.
Oh, Dad, you're creeping us out. I think this psychopath of Grace girlfriend, that psychopath is influencing you.
All right, I've had enough of you. All right, just give her a chance.
No, Lord, none of that stuff happened in the movie. Billy, please. Oh, Lord.
Then there's more footage of the dollhouse. And now we see that the kids are fiddling with it. So they're the ones that are, putting the little characters in there and manipulating shit and moving around the little dolls and not painting. And they began to pack, alas, they began to pack their things for Christmas vacation. And Mia brings some creatures that were, I think they're seahorses, inside the dollhouse. Then they pick up Grace and her beautiful little dog, Grady. He's a good boy. Who's a good boy? Grady is a good boy. So they pick up Grace and they pick up Grady. And Grace says hello, but the little kids are little assholes about it.
Oh, hey guys. That's me, Grace, and this is Grady.
Whatever. Leave me alone. You're not my mom. She used to play Chin Check by NWA. I bet you don't even know that song.
Oh, I know Chin Check by NWA. Do you guys want to listen to Chin Check by NWA? I totally know that song. Absolutely. I'll play it on right now. Here you go.
No, we don't want you.
It's not the same without
Mom.
Yeah. It's just not the same without Mom. Can you please stop playing that music? Oh, but I love this song. I thought maybe you guys we can just rap along. Come on. I'll be Dr. Dre. Mia, you can be Snoop. Aiden, you can be whatever you want to be. You want to be Ice Cube?
No, I don't want to be Ice Cube.
Alright, fine. Jesus. Alright, I'll turn it off. Anyway, they're on their way.
Then it's a long, quiet drive where the kids are, for some reason, discussing what happens inside a black hole. And right before, they arrive. They arrive to the lodge. Right before they are about to eat dinner, Mia begins to pray. Now, Mia has shown some inclination in religious beliefs before, especially at her mother's funeral, right?
Well, when she mentioned that her mother's not going to heaven because of what she had done, then that leads me and the audience to believe that, she in fact is rather religious.
But Grace doesn't like it. Grace is just sitting there like, hands crossed.
She actually sounds like a wizard from Minecraft. Play Minecraft, Billy? Oh, I love that game. Should we do a review on Minecraft? Man, it's not really scary.
Minecraft is not scary? Have you ever been inside a cave, Billy?
Well, I guess. Oh, jeez, you don't have to get so defensive about it.
You dare say Minecraft is not scary. Anyway, as they eat dinner, Grace begins to bleed from her nose a little bit. And then she's staring at a cross. And Rich is like, oh, hey, hun, does the cross bother you? It belonged to Laura. I can definitely take it down. Let's just zoom in on the cross a lot. Yeah, you know, it's totally fine. It's just, well, if I'm honest, it's a little creepy. Like some man in like a T shape on a wood thing, you know, like not the most encouraging sign of hope and humanity, but hey, if you like it, and at least this one isn't crying with blood or anything like that. The only one who's bleeding is me from my nose. Oh, I better clean this up. And they zoom in on the cross a lot. Yeah, this is maybe that misdirection that you were talking about, because maybe there's undertones about this story maybe turning into some supernatural story. They keep zooming in and out on the cross, and Grace doesn't like it. And the creepy door slamming that you mentioned earlier, so it's all part of the misdirection you mentioned. Thank you for the analysis. Yeah, that's why I'm here. Then we move on to another scene where Grace and Richard are having a gay old time, but they are trying to be as quiet as they can about it, according to them, but the kids can hear. Keep it down, Grace, baby. Come here, baby. And the kids are in the other room and they're listening to all this nonsense. And then there's a shot of Grady. Oh, little Grady, he's a good boy. But then there's a creaky floorboard. And Grady's like a good boy. What's going on, Grady? Huh? What's going on? And then there's some creepy wind. And Grady growls. But nothing of interest happened. Just a little teaser. And then it's the next day, and everybody's out skating. Enjoying the winter fun. And Grace is awful at skating, and then Richard's like, "Oh, hey kids, can you give Gracie a hand there? And she sucks. I'm sorry, babe, but you suck." It's just a joke. Oh, by the way, Grace, do you remember South Park? Do you remember South Park, Grace? Do you remember the chef? He goes, "Hello, children. Fuck you." Oh, South Park, such a great show. Grace is like, she's just trying to stay on her feet. She's like walking with sticks. Oh my goodness, this is so difficult. Anyway, the kids are asked to go help her. And the kids walk up to her. Mia walks up to her. And she's like, "That's my mom's hat, you bitch." Oh my goodness, she did not say that. Oh, she said that. And Grace is like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mia. Here you go. And hands her mom's hat. And then Mia, we move on to another scene. Everybody's having a little ice skating fun. And Mia's playing with that doll that looks like her mom again. For some reason, it's carrying it with her on that creaky ice. And suddenly the ice is like, as ice tends to do when it's not completely frozen over a lake. By the way, they are ice skating on a not quite frozen lake. And suddenly she drops the doll in the goddamn fishing hole, and while trying to prevent her from falling, Grace falls in herself. I've fallen! Help! Help! Life alert! I've fallen and I can't get up! With Life Alert, you can live alone without ever being alone, and that's why I wear one too. What are you talking about? Oh, it's Life Alert in case you fall. Oh my goodness. So she falls into the hole, and we think this is gonna be the end of her. That's it. Grace is here's the pitch. Swing of the miss, and Grace is out of here, and she's fallen into the hole, and she is definitely gonna die. But she doesn't. She gets saved, and then we move on to another creepy shot of the inside of the dollhouse. Why do they keep focusing so much on this dollhouse? We don't really know yet, but now the little parts or the little characters are like different than where they were before. It almost seems like this dollhouse is being used for something more than just playing around. And then Richard and Grace talk about Richard not returning to the city and leaving Grace alone with the kids? Why? Grace, listen, if you don't want to, I can definitely stay here, and well, I guess I can take care of my own kids if you really want me to do that. I mean, I thought that's why, you were getting married, so you could assume that responsibility. I got a lot of things to do, Grace. Okay? Kind of need your hand here. Oh, no, that's completely fine. Go on. I mean, it's just a couple of days, right? It's no big deal. No worries. And Grace hides some medication that she takes. She hides it from Richard, right? Yeah, she's hiding whatever is in the medication from Richard. And in an effort to protect her, show her how to protect herself, Richard pulls out a 6-shooter that used to belong to Laura. Now, Grace, evening, ma'am. This here's the 6-shooter. I'm gonna show you how we used to shoot things in the Old West. I thought you said that revolver belonged to your wife's dad. That's right. But, around here, we all gotta learn how to shoot the old 6-shooter. Why don't you grab it and you cock the thing back just like this, and then Grace grabs the gun and she's just like, bah, 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 bah. Like she's just freaking playing Red Dead Revolver. Billy, Red Dead Revolver? Oh yeah, I love that game. And she's a gunslinger. He shoots better than he does. Crazy. Anyway, the dad goes off into the city and then mentions, I think this was some kind of foreboding, or, I thought it was going to be more important than it turned out to be, but mentions that Wendy from the gas station has a key if anything happens. Wendy from the gas station, huh? More misdirection. Then Gracie mentions that she's gonna start decorating and asks the kids if they want to help, and they're like, we don't want to decorate with a homewrecker like you, bitch.
Yeah, fuck you, Mia. Fuck you and your decoration. Fuck Christmas.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, those kids are very rude. Oh, they don't help her. And then Grace talks about her creeper father, and the camera zooms in on a shot of a cross that's carved into her hand for some reason. We haven't seen that before. And now Grace and Mia are looking at old family footage, and of course it makes Grace uncomfortable, right? I mean, of course. Yeah, they're looking at footage of what Laura and Richard at the old cabin, and these kids are really mean to Grace. Like, I understand having, to adjust, but it just really seems like they're going out of their way to make her miserable. You think? Yeah, I do. I meant to see that. Yeah, I meant to say that. It's like, ha, ha. I don't follow. Never mind, Dylan. Never mind. No. Anyway, Grace tries to reach out to Aiden, but Aiden again isn't having any of it. Listen, Aiden, I just want to let you know that I'm here if you need me, and I could be like the coolest stepmom in the history of stepmoms if you really wanted to.
Yeah, Grace, you know what?
I don't think so. Okay. So why don't you just make like a tree and
Get out of here, Grace.
please? And as Grace is having dinner, the camera zooms in on that picture of the creepy woman again. Maybe it's the Virgin Mary. I don't know. But then she decides to switch seats so she can't see it. It's like this picture's really bothering her, right? Eventually, she takes this painting down and leaves it on the side of a drawer or something, right? Yeah, she really doesn't like it. Anyway, move on to another scene, and as Grace is exiting the shower, something is creepily standing behind her in the background. And then on the mirror, because of the condensation, there's the word heart. With the, it's not the word, but the mom written inside a heart. You know how the steams up the mirror? Yeah, I know the phenomena. Well, it says mom. I know, I saw it. Well, just in case you missed it. I didn't miss it. I saw the whole thing. You tend to fall asleep in really important things, Billy. I mean, I don't. You just state things that didn't happen in the movie. Oh, Billy. You're not thinking four-dimensionally, Marty. Oh, Lord. So Aiden is just creepily standing behind her as she's getting out of the shower. And then Mia, in another scene, turns on candles and leaves her mother doll next to them. And then another scene with the creaky floorboard and Grady barks. And the wind cries, Mary. It howls. Then someone starts to play the organ or something? I don't know, maybe it's just music, but I heard an organ. Oh, but it's Grace and she's having a dream. Oh my goodness. We're starting to get to... Remember those pills I mentioned earlier? Yeah, man, now we know that if she's not taking those pills, maybe she's gonna start to become unreliable. Yeah, so far it's a pretty reliable story. Everything seems normal. She's taking the medication. Everything is A-okay. But then Mia can't find her doll in another scene, and Grace offers to look in a room. And Mia says that she never goes into that room, and it turns out that's the room where Grady is, and Grady somehow got a hold of this doll and he chewed on it.
Good boy, Grady, good boy.
Chewing on that evil girl's doll. And we see Grace take another one of her pills. And again, Grace reaches out to Aiden. Hey, Aiden, I'm gonna make a sandwich. Would you like one?
No,
I'm okay. And Grace and Mia watch a movie and about some man being sewn up. Looked like a Western, right? Yeah, it was a Western. And in there, in the movie, it's really funny. Somebody says, now, why did the chicken cross the road, partner? Well, it was cabin fever, that's why. Everybody knows that. Oh my God, that's not what they said. They said cabin fever, didn't they? They did say cabin fever, but they did not say why the chicken crossed the road. Anyway, in another scene, I guess Aiden starts to warm up to Grace and bring her a cup of hot something. Oh, hey, Grace, I'm just, I thought you could use from a little hot drink here I made, and, yeah, it's kind of cold here. And then they're all sitting down watching a horror film in the next scene. But the painting of the creepy woman falls from its location. What's going on here? I don't know. And then Grace is like, oh, guys, can we watch something different? Maybe something Christmassy or something a little more fun. And we don't know what happens. And then the next scene, Grace wakes up from a nap and she's laying down outside on crackling ice. What the hell happened? And she clears her eyes and falls right through the ice again. And then a hand pulls her further down into the abyss and we don't know what it is. But then she wakes up from this goddamn dream. God damn it. They inceptioned us. Oh my God. They inceptioned us. They did. They really did. A dream within a dream. Now shit is starting to get unreliable, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit. And now all the Christmas decorations that she had put up are gone. And so is this little heater that was earlier there. The gas, I forgot to mention this plot element. There's the heater that they were using. A gas-powered heater. That's gone. The Christmas decorations are gone. The food is gone. And now the painting of the woman is also back. And she goes to her room and now she realizes that all her belongings are back. And then everything is gone, including Grady. And they'll search for Grady. Grady! Oh, Grady, come return to me. But obviously Grady doesn't return. And in the next scene, they start to eat canned schlop and crackers because all the food is gone. But seriously, they don't know how the food is all gone and it's not pursued. Anyway, Aiden then confesses about a nightmare he had.
What's your name again?
Oh, right, Grace. Grace, I had a nightmare.
And, the gas heater started smoking and I couldn't breathe and...
We all suffocated. Huh. That's a really creepy nightmare, but you know, we're fine. So, thanks for sharing. You just eat your canned schlop with the crackers. No, you gotta, no. No. You never went to LAUSD. No, what you gotta do is you gotta break up your crackers and dump them in the schlop. Oh, LAUSD? Oh, yeah, that's Los Angeles Unified School District. You never went there, really? Wow. Oh, you were a rich kid. Oh, okay, well. I get it. So you never had canned schlop? You never had a sloppy Joe with crackers? What about that LAUSD coffee cake? Did you ever have that? Oh, you never went to LAU. Oh, you already said that. I'm sorry. And then they realized that the clocks are turned to January 9th for some reason. And Grace continues to look for Grady. Grady! Grady! Return to me! But Grady's nowhere to be found. Oh, man, I really hated that. And then Mia is pretending to be talking on the phone in another scene with somebody. And this is really critical because, you know, right now, can't find Grady. The other phone is missing, and the only one that has a phone right now is Mia. She's pretending to talk on the phone, but as Grace approaches her, she says, oh, what the fuck? What the fuck, Grace? I'm pretending. Don't you know little girls pretend to talk on the phone? You never made a cardboard phone? What the fuck, Grace? No, they really fucked you up, you psychopath. You fucking psychopath. Mia, you really shouldn't use that language, okay? That's okay, because I confess to the Lord and I can do whatever I want after that. My sins will be erased. I am cleansed. Grace, not like you, bitch. Psychopath bitch. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Mia. I don't know where you found that language, but oh my goodness. And now, while taking a towel bath, because the pipes are frozen, the word repent appears on the mirror. That's the second instance and some creepy shit has happened. I heard creepy shit happens around here. What's going on? Is some supernatural shit happening? I don't know. And now the dollhouse, which, by the way, I just realized looks just like the lodge at this point, has three characters in a position that makes them appear as if they are dead. D-E-D, dead. I mean D-I-D, dead? No, I mean D-E-D, dead. Oh my god. And then, Mia and Grace investigate a noise they hear at night, and a door mysteriously opens. Grace says it's just a window. But then the word repent your sins, just confess, God's waiting. She's exploring the lodge. And who's saying this shit? No, I don't know, but things are really starting to unravel a little bit here. They are. And Grace sleepwalks and sees visions of what she saw when she survived the mass suicide. The word sin painted on those gray strips of duct tape over their mouths as they committed suicide. But she's also holding that 6-shooter. And now the clock says January 9th again. And finally, Grace has had enough at this point, right, Billy? Yeah, I think Grace has had too much of these strange occurrences, and She's ready to leave and maybe go to the gas station they mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, the gas station must be nearby. That woman could help them. You know, they're out there so they don't have to eat LAUSD schlapp and crackers anymore. And, yeah. So she tells Grace, or rather she tells Aiden that they're leaving.
Are you kidding me?
Grace,
Oh, you're crazy.
it's cold outside. It's a snowstorm.
You can't go.
But Grace, alas, she goes alone. The hero. Listen here, Aiden, you little fucker. You should be a little more brave. I'm going out there in the goddamn snow, with or without you, or that little bit sister of yours. She has a little potty mouth on her. Is she possessed? Because I know demons can be that way. Okay. Do you know if she's possessed? Maybe that's what she plays up all that religious stuff all the time. Is she possessed? Now to talk to us about whether or not little Mia is possessed is little David Glatzer from our episode on The Devil Made Me Do It, who happens to be a demonologist in his own right. David, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, thank you for joining us, David. How are things?
Aw, I mean, I'm still hungry.
I'm very sorry to hear that, little David.
Oh, shucks.
David, quick question. In your opinion, is Mia suffering from demonic possession considering she curses so much?
Yeah, I think she is this demonic possessions.
Oh, David, are you suffering from demonic possession yourself right now?
Yeah, the demon wants to come out. Fuck you, Rick. She's not possessed. I mean, she's possessed. She has a demon, a really nasty one.
Wait, you just said she's not possessed.
Oh, that was the demon talking. He's here again. Oh my God, he's here again.
Hello, Rick. She's definitely possessed.
Wow. Oh, okay. I guess the demon is here now, huh, David?
No more David.
Well, thank you so much for your help, David. Ladies and gentlemen, David Glasser from our episode on The Devil Made Me Do It contribution. Apparently to David, she is not possessed. I mean, that was as an unclear as an opinion on a matter as I've ever heard one. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that she is not possessed, considering we too, or I too am a demonologist. Oh my God, a stuff-anointed demonologist. Oh, we've already had this conversation. If Ed and Lorraine Warren anointed themselves, if Ed and Lorraine Warren anointed themselves demonologists, and all they had was a book here or a book there or access to the local library, why can't I? Because I have the power of the internet. I have the power to find out the name of every goddamn demon that have ever existed and roamed or not roamed, allegedly, this earth. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rick, the demonologist. Oh my God, now you're tooting your own horn again. Anyway, she's not possessed. That's my expert opinion. And we move on. And now we are, now we see that when she walks outside, right? You see her walking through the heavy snow, Grace. And of course, obviously it starts to snow. And then she sees a creepy cross-shaped house and someone is looking at her from the inside, but when she knocks, hello? Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eye. No one answers. And she continues to walk and she now sees some footsteps, but unfortunately they lead back to her cabin. But as she returns, she sees this picture of Mia and Aiden buried in the snow, and the frame says, "Rest in peace." And she walks back inside, and Aiden sees in and asks, Grace, what if we died? What if we're already dead? We must repent. And back in the dollhouse, a character is seen hanging now. In another scene, Grace places the crucifix back on a wall that belonged to Laura. I think it did, right? Yeah, it belonged to Laura. I don't recall her taking it down, but it's back in there now, and Grace continues to hear a voice that says, repent. Repent your sins. God's waiting. God's waiting, and you, and only you, know how to open the door, Grace. And she reaches the children again, and they are praying to a note that says that they died. That they died in a tragedy on January 9th triggered by a faulty gas heater. What the fuck? Yeah, it's really crazy now. And Grace and Aiden argue, and Aiden says that he'll prove to her that they're in purgatory, or they're in hell. And he walks up the stairs, and Grace follows him. And she looks up, and it's Aiden, and he's just hanging from a noose. Oh, hey, Grace, see, look. You see this? I'm hanging. Like, it's totally not fake. I'm dead. Look. Look, nothing happens. Like, I'm not even choking. Look. I'm faking the choke because I don't even feel it. But I'm hanging, you see? I'm hung. I've been hanged. Like, look. See? Nothing. And yeah, Grace sees Aiden hanging, but he's not dead, or he's already dead. I don't understand. That's where the unreliable narrator happens, right? Now you have to remember, she's not taking her medication anymore because all her possessions were hidden. And now she turns to the painting and says, oh, little painting, I pray the Lord of my soul to take. Please protect me from whatever is happening here in this home, in this lodge. I pray my Lord the soul to take if I die before I wake. Amen. But nothing happens. And now Grace comes back from walking outside, and because she went outside for a bit, and she sees the frozen corpse of Grady. Oh my god, I hated that. It's so sad. Why do they have to kill a dog in the movie? I hate it. Terrible. And we'll find out who killed him soon enough. Anyway, Aiden and Mia say that they're talking to each other now, right, Billy? Yeah, now they're like in a different thing, and now they're like, wait. We had to convince that bitch to stop sitting outside. She's gonna freeze to death. Yeah, I think we have to stop this, Mia. Stop what? What's going on, right? Yeah, I think they're about to reveal it. Then they confess to Grace that they're the ones who hid her shit, and they kept giving her sleeping pills, and, they're trying to convince her that they're not actually dead, and that all of this buffoonery and crazy shit has been happening because of them, but Grace is just too far gone now. She's been seeing too many visions. Her dog is dead. She hasn't been taking her medication since she keeps hearing a voice. And Grace, on her knees on burning logs, says she repents. Oh Lord, I repent for the harm I've done to this family. I repent. I'm sorry, good Lord. Ah! She's screaming in pain because she's kneeling on these logs of fire. And suddenly Richard sees the dollhouse back in his apartment. He sees the craziness that was planned. Or the craziness that the kids had planned all along. And so he rushes over here. He knew his kids were not right, huh? Well, I mean, maybe it was those, like you said earlier, it was too many paletas. Yeah, that was me. That's what drove him crazy. The paletas. So he rushes over the cabin, but by the time he gets there, Grace is just way gone. She hasn't been on medication forever. And as he reaches the cabin, he sees Grace, but now she's holding that 6-shooter. And as we know, she's a gunslinger. And he pleads with her to not shoot. Grace, hun, I'm really sorry I left you here with all these crazy kids for bang! She just shoots them dead right in the head. And now the kids are screaming, "Ah, shit, this fucking bitch, she killed my dad! Ah, fuck, fuck, fuck! I should have not done all of this fucking bullshit and made her go crazy." But alas, it's too late. They try to escape in the Jeep, but it's stuck in the snow. And in the next scene, we see Grace, and she's saying all her religious stuff, and now the, her religious cult stuff, and around the dinner table, we have the body of Richard's body that is now sitting upright on a chair, and his brain's blown out of the back of his head, and the kids are there. And suddenly she gets up and starts to tape their mouths with the word sinner, just as she has seen during her mass suicide. And that's it. That's where the movie ends. And oh my goodness, what an absolute joyride. What a crazy freaking movie. Amazing. I absolutely love this movie. The Lodge. What a ride, Billy. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film, but now we'll await your rating. Because they killed Grady and because of that misdirection, this movie gets a 9.5 out of 10. Movie makers out there, do not harm dogs or pets. We hate it. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, we appreciate you coming by. And we hope to see you next time on another exciting episode of Rick's Rated R Horror Movie Review Show, where we review all things related to horror. Good night.